Ever notice how the loudest people are rarely the most successful? What if I told you the secret to winning isn't in telling, it's in doing? Today, I'll show you why silence can be your superpower. Action speaks louder than words. This phrase is often repeated but rarely fully understood, especially in a world where social media and constant validation make people feel the need to announce every small achievement. The reality is that words can be empty, promises can be hollow, and intentions can be misleading. Anyone can say they are working, anyone can claim they have a plan, anyone can declare their dreams and goals, but very few actually follow through. The difference between those who succeed and those who merely talk about success lies in action, in consistent, focused, and deliberate effort that is done quietly without seeking approval, attention, or recognition. When you act instead of speaking, you step into a space where results are undeniable, where outcomes become your statement, and where people are forced to acknowledge your achievements because they cannot be denied or disputed. The power of action over words begins with mindset. When you stop announcing your plans, you remove the external pressure of others' expectations. People often feel compelled to share their goals because they seek validation or reassurance, but this external focus can dilute the internal drive. Action, on the other hand, is inwardly fueled. It doesn't need applause, it doesn't need likes or comments. It thrives on discipline, consistency, and belief in the unseen work. Every step taken quietly adds momentum, builds skill, and sharpens clarity. This is the difference between talking about doing something and actually doing it. Those who act know that progress is made in silence and patience, and that the loudest voices are not always the most productive. Action also creates credibility in ways words cannot. Anyone can say they are capable, anyone can claim knowledge, anyone can assert ambition, but results are the ultimate measure of competence. History is filled with examples of individuals who let their actions define them rather than their words. From inventors who quietly experimented for years in solitude before revealing world-changing creations, to entrepreneurs who built empires behind the scenes before anyone knew their names. The most respected achievers were rarely the loudest when it came to announcing intentions. People remember results, they respect impact, and they follow those who consistently deliver, not those who simply promise. Action bridges the gap between intention and reality, between vision and accomplishment. Another critical aspect is the emotional freedom that comes with acting quietly. When you announce your plans, you invite opinions, judgments, and criticism, whether constructive or not. People may doubt your capability, question your timing, or undermine your confidence. Each comment or unsolicited advice becomes a potential distraction, an emotional burden, and a drain on focus. When you act without telling, you shield yourself from these external disruptions. You allow yourself to operate in a zone of autonomy where your energy is spent on creation rather than explanation, on progress rather than persuasion. This freedom enables higher levels of concentration, innovation, and resilience because your emotional resources are fully aligned with the work itself. Consistency in action is another factor that amplifies its power. Words can inspire briefly, but action accumulates value over time. Every small task completed, every disciplined effort, every tiny improvement adds up. The compounding effect of repeated action is far more impactful than sporadic declarations of intent. People who focus on action understand that mastery and success are not the result of occasional grand gestures, but of persistent, daily effort. By concentrating on what you do instead of what you say, you ensure that each step contributes to tangible results, that progress is measurable, and that success becomes inevitable rather than coincidental. The discipline of acting without announcing also strengthens character. It teaches patience, humility, and the ability to defer gratification. When you resist the urge to broadcast your efforts, you develop resilience against the need for approval and external validation. You learn to find satisfaction in the process itself, in the quiet progress, and in the incremental victories that often go unnoticed by others. This internal reward system is far more sustainable than relying on external recognition, which can be inconsistent, fleeting, and often distracting. Acting quietly cultivates a sense of self-reliance, confidence, and inner strength that becomes the foundation for larger achievements. Furthermore, action over words creates a strategic advantage. When your moves are private, you reduce the risk of competition, sabotage, or premature exposure. In business, in personal growth, or in creative pursuits, revealing your plans too early can lead to copied ideas, unnecessary criticism, or interference that slows progress. By executing silently, you maintain control over your trajectory, making your impact stronger when revealed. This approach also builds anticipation and respect as people witness results that cannot be ignored rather than promises that may never materialize. The silent achiever becomes unpredictable, respected, and influential because the focus is on outcomes, not chatter. The ripple effect of acting rather than talking extends beyond personal gains. Actions inspire more profoundly than words because they provide evidence, a template, a proof that something is possible. When others see results, they are motivated to take their own steps, to adopt discipline, and to believe in the power of focused effort. Words can persuade temporarily, but action demonstrates, educates, and transforms. This influence is far more authentic and enduring because it is grounded in reality rather than rhetoric. Those who choose action over words often become role models, quietly shaping the mindset and behavior of those around them without ever needing to claim the spotlight. To fully embrace the principle that action speaks louder than words, one must also cultivate clarity of purpose. When your actions are aligned with clear goals, each step taken is intentional, measurable, and impactful. Without clarity, action can become scattered, inconsistent, or misdirected. The combination of purpose and execution creates results that are both significant and undeniable. Clear goals paired with disciplined action transform potential into tangible outcomes, and over time, they establish a pattern of achievement that defines character, reputation, and legacy. Finally, acting quietly teaches the value of patience and timing. Results often take time to manifest, and those who understand the power of silent action are willing to endure the waiting period. They focus on continuous improvement rather than immediate recognition, on refining skills rather than broadcasting intent, on laying foundations before claiming credit. This patience ensures that when results do appear, they are powerful, undeniable, and long-lasting. Acting with intent rather than announcing prematurely prevents disappointment, reduces pressure, and allows for a more thoughtful, strategic approach to success. By choosing action over words, you embrace a mindset of discipline, focus, and resilience. You create credibility that cannot be disputed, protect your energy from unnecessary distractions, accumulate results over time, and cultivate character, patience, and strategic advantage. You inspire others through example, turning potential into reality and shaping your life in a way that is authentic, powerful, and impactful. Every quiet step you take adds to a momentum that, when protecting your energy, is one of the most underrated yet powerful strategies for achieving success, personal growth, and mental clarity. In a world that constantly demands attention, opinion, and reaction, allowing others to dictate how you feel, think, or act can drain your energy and scatter your focus. Every conversation, every interaction, and every shared detail about your plans or ambitions carries a cost, often invisible but profoundly impactful. When you guard your energy, you are essentially creating a personal space that is immune to unnecessary distractions, negativity, and external interference. This is not about isolation or secrecy. It is about intentional preservation of the mental, emotional, and creative resources that fuel productivity, innovation, and progress. The first step in protecting your energy is understanding where it goes. Many people unknowingly expend vast amounts of energy on pleasing others, seeking validation, or explaining themselves. These activities, while seemingly social or productive, often contribute very little to actual results. When you constantly justify your decisions or disclose your intentions, you open yourself up to judgment, unsolicited advice, and pressure to conform. This dispersal of energy reduces your focus and diminishes your capacity to execute on what truly matters. By keeping your moves private, you conserve this energy, allowing it to be channeled toward action, skill development, and tangible achievements. Energy, when concentrated, magnifies impact, whereas energy scattered on external distractions results in minimal progress and increased frustration. Protecting your energy also means setting boundaries in interactions and relationships. Not everyone needs to know your plans, your struggles, or your vision. Sharing too much too soon can invite opinions, criticism, or even sabotage, often unintentionally. People may respond based on their own limitations, biases, or fears, which can interfere with your momentum. When you selectively share information, you maintain control over your narrative and reduce the likelihood of being derailed by external influences. Boundaries are not walls, they are filters, guiding your energy toward meaningful, productive channels while minimizing unnecessary expenditure on irrelevant or counterproductive interactions. Another important aspect is emotional energy. Every human interaction carries an emotional cost. Engaging with negativity, conflict, or envy can leave you depleted, distracted, and demotivated. By protecting your energy, you cultivate emotional resilience, ensuring that your focus remains on progress rather than reaction. This means being mindful of who you spend time with, what discussions you engage in, and the environments you immerse yourself in. Emotional energy is finite, and each person has the capacity to influence it positively or negatively. By controlling exposure and interaction, you preserve a calm, focused, and motivated mindset that is essential for high performance and personal fulfillment. Focus is a direct beneficiary of protected energy. When you are not expending mental and emotional resources on unnecessary explanations, opinions, or social validation, your cognitive resources are available for strategic thinking, problem solving, and creativity. Protecting energy is essentially a form of mental discipline. It ensures that your mind is free to analyze, innovate, and act effectively without being burdened by distractions that are unrelated to your goals. This clarity enables better decision-making, improved efficiency, and the ability to spot opportunities that others, distracted by social noise, might miss. High achievers understand that focus is the currency of success, and protecting energy is the most practical way to safeguard this currency. Protecting energy is also about timing and pacing. Life is not a sprint, it is a series of calculated, deliberate steps. When you reveal everything about your journey prematurely, you invite external pressure that may force you to accelerate before you are ready. Conserving energy allows you to act at the optimal time, maximizing impact and effectiveness. The silent, deliberate approach ensures that you are not reacting to others' expectations, but following your own strategy. By controlling the pace and timing of your actions, you can optimize results and maintain control over the trajectory of your progress, avoiding burnout and frustration along the way. Creativity and innovation flourish in protected energy spaces. Constant exposure to criticism, advice, or comparison can stifle originality, forcing you into patterns of conformity. By maintaining privacy about your actions and ambitions, you create a mental and emotional environment where creativity can thrive unimpeded. When your mind is focused on execution rather than explanation, you can experiment, iterate, and refine your ideas without fear of judgment or interference. Many groundbreaking innovations and ideas are born in quiet, protected spaces where energy is fully devoted to creation and distraction is minimized. The act of protecting energy thus becomes a catalyst for excellence and originality, enabling outcomes that far exceed what could be achieved in a reactive or socially driven environment. Another dimension of energy protection is resilience. Life inevitably presents challenges, setbacks, and failures. When your energy has been preserved, you are better equipped to handle these moments without being overwhelmed. Emotional reserves, mental clarity, and focused determination all depend on how well you manage and protect your energy. People who expend energy on external noise often find themselves drained and reactive when adversity hits, whereas those who conserve energy remain composed, strategic, and proactive. This resilience allows for sustained progress, long-term growth, and the ability to maintain momentum in the face of obstacles that would otherwise slow or derail less disciplined individuals. Protecting energy also strengthens self-confidence. When you are not constantly seeking validation or explaining your actions to others, you cultivate an internal sense of worth and capability. Self-confidence is reinforced by action, competence, and progress, not by external approval. The more you protect your energy and focus it on meaningful work, the more capable and assured you become in your abilities. This self-confidence further enhances productivity, decision-making, and leadership potential because it is grounded in results and self-awareness rather than the fluctuating opinions of others. Social dynamics play a significant role in energy management. Every interaction carries implicit expectations, judgments, or emotional responses that consume energy. By carefully choosing what, when, and with whom to share, you gain an advantage in maintaining focus and control. Not everyone's input is valuable. Not every opinion deserves attention. Protecting your energy allows you to filter out noise and negativity, ensuring that your interactions contribute positively rather than depleting resources. Strategic privacy is a form of empowerment, enabling you to operate effectively without being distracted by external influences. Finally, protecting energy ensures long-term sustainability. The pursuit of goals, whether personal, professional, or creative, requires consistent effort over time. Energy that is constantly diverted to unnecessary explanations, social drama, or validation seeking leads to burnout, frustration, and stagnation. By preserving energy and directing it toward meaningful action, you ensure that your efforts are sustainable, effective, and aligned with your objectives. This approach maximizes impact, maintains motivation, and enhances the quality of your work, creating a trajectory of continuous improvement and achievement